I am stuck in a prison that my younger self created. You see, as you're going through life and you're experiencing certain things and you have to make certain decisions and choices, that's really the word that really makes you grow up, right? Choices. In life, there's certain choices that you make. And the only way you know where the choice leads is if you actually take upon that choice and you go where the path goes of that choice. And it's only at the end of that choice where you realize you fucked up. There's a simple way you can realize what choices to make in life. If you make a choice in life that leads to your death, you don't really make a really bad choice. What do I mean? If you decide to go buy a Lamborghini, okay, and somehow you crash that Lamborghini after 2 weeks and you die, you didn't make a bad choice. A bad choice is one that puts you into a prison while you're still alive. That's a bad choice. What do I mean? Not buying the Lamborghini and going ahead and buying a certain car that's going to make you feel smaller than you are. And somehow, because of that decision, there's like an oscillating domino effect that happens in life, whereby it leads you back into a position that you don't like. I believe it's better to die as the person who you want to be than to live as someone who you never want to become. I have gone in my life and made certain decisions while I was younger that have put me into a position now while I'm older that I don't like. That means that I made certain decisions in the past and choices that weren't smart, that weren't intellectual, okay, not intellectual, but that weren't wise, you could say. And it's so weird that I believed I was wise growing up. I believed I was wise, Unless, there was a person who I thought was wise, but he was only just telling me these things for his own benefit. He was giving me answers for his own benefit, right? Not for my own benefit and for my own future. And because I've made these decisions, now I've got to the answers. And I'm in my mid-20s. And it's more like, okay, cool. Can I roll the dice again? Okay? Because this time if I roll the dice, I know what choice to make. And it's like, is this a matter of, do you have the luck in your genetics? Are you genetically disposed, or are you genetically determined to have another opportunity that come into your life that can change the trajectory of your existence? That's really the question. I don't know. You see, you need to be very careful about the decisions you make while you're younger. And that's the weird thing about life. It's very unfair. It's unfair in the fact that the most important decisions you're going to make in your life are the ones where you make it when you're the youngest. How fucked is that? So your decisions when you're young affect your life more than any decision you're going to make while you're older. How fucked is that? Think about it. And when you're older, you actually have the answers to actually make the best decisions. Okay? So it puts you into a trap in the fact that once you know the answers and you're in this trap and you're in this jail called life, you feel like you need a key, because this key is going to unlock the place that you want to be in, the prison you want to be in, because life is just about a prison. Like when you're famous, it's also a prison, right? You can't go out and go do what normal people do. It's an exchange of your keys. Okay, do you want a big key whereby everyone knows you? You have disposable income, unlimited income, you could say. You can never go broke again, but at the same time, you can't go out. And this is what famous people they realize after a while. They have to dress up as different people, this and that. They have to go eat out at a different place. Okay. So I've found myself at 25 in a prison that I created, and I'm not happy about it. And every single day it's more like, okay, cool. Where is the key to unlock this prison? Where's the key? Okay, because I need to get out of this prison. Okay, and it's a real shame when your life at such young age feels like a prison already, because life starts feeling like a prison later on in life. It can actually be a gift. Okay, being put into a prison at a young age can actually be a gift. I'm sorry, I'm actually getting cold. It can actually be a gift, because now, you at least you still have time. You're young. You can still make decisions and choices that lead up to a certain stage, when you're in your late 30s or early 40s, that are going to inverse for your benefit. Okay? But the truth is, you're always the same person unless you're meeting new experiences that change you as a person. So if you're the same person, you're probably going to make the same decisions. So that's another thing. How do you actually change who you are? Well, that's determined by your experiences. So it's this loop that you get into. And you start realizing that any decision you've ever made, you haven't actually been in control of it. There's a higher power at play deciding how you play your life. Almost like, a puppet. We think we're doing something, but we're just a puppet. A puppet for the higher gods to just play around with us. The gods just to play around, just drive a car, why not? Let me make this decision. And your life for the gods up there, it doesn't really affect them. For them, they're just living a life. It's like, imagine living a game as a certain character in a movie. Sorry, in a game. You don't care about what the character feels if he dies. Think about GTA. How many times Frank dies? You don't give a shit. He'll die. You'll respawn. You'll just respawn as someone else. You don't give a shit. I feel it's the same way the gods look at us. They don't give a shit. Christianity teaches us to pray to God. And a lot of people who I've seen who pray to God, a lot of the problems that I've seen is that they're too patient. They're too patient. They're too, what can I say, waiting for a superpower to somehow get them out of the prison they're in. You gotta fight. You gotta bang your head against the wall. There has to be some sort of sacrifice that you give to get out of the prison. There has to be a sacrifice. There has to be. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice. I just need to find out what is that sacrifice. Okay? I'm willing to make it. Because, okay, you know what I'm saying? It needs to get this bad for you to want to get out of the prison you're in. Otherwise, you'll just be happy. The greatest curse is being in a prison and you're half happy and half sad. That's the greatest curse. Because you don't feel like you need to get out of it. And as you get older, it gets worse. Okay? It doesn't get better, it gets worse unless you do something. I'm speaking to someone right now. Maybe this is a message for you, brother. Peace out, it's Label Black Man. I'm out.